Joining us in studio now, haven't talked to her in a while, the Director of Donor Recruitment and Mobile Collections with Mississippi Blood Services, Merle Eldridge. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, always enjoy talking to you. Been out there several times to Mississippi Blood Services. This is a question I don't want to ask, but I've got to start with this one, Merle. You know that. So how are things going with the blood donations?
I would love to say that it's gotten better, but sadly it really hasn't. I think the unfortunate thing is that COVID changed the way a lot of people think and process, and it has really, really impacted the blood industry across the country, not just here in Mississippi. But, us here in Mississippi, we want to make sure Mississippi patients have what they need, and quite frankly, we've not been able to fulfill our hospital needs at the level we really need to be.
Well, let me ask you, talking about the way COVID changed people's thought processes, which is true, and we knew that was, Rhino and I told you that was going to happen when this whole thing was starting 2+ years ago, and it's played out that way. Do you still have donors that are having COVID concerns?
Not that many are voicing to us. That has kind of diminished. I think what has happened is some of our donors that came on a regular basis and it was top of mind for them, it's just fallen off of their radar. And to get them back into that mindset has really been challenging. We have anywhere from 5 to 10 blood drives across the state. We're trying really hard to get to as many donors as we possibly can every single day, every week, every month. But it's not just about us being where they can see us. It's trying to convince them that this is something that they should put back into their regimen, back into their every 56 days, every 2 months calendar to make sure that we have what we need.
So what you're saying is a lot of people lost momentum.
I think so.
Basically, when you get out of the habit, it's harder sometimes to get back into the habit.
That's right. And us trying to figure out how to get those people back into that habit. And as I was sharing with you off the air, we were able to get back into a lot of our schools. And for those of you who don't know, our schools, our colleges, high schools, they really provide lots of the blood product during school time, so the fall and the spring. So we've been able to at least see some uptick in the amount of donations we are having. Well, the problem is here we are at the end of April, and here comes May, and a lot of those donors, they're going to be graduating, and we're not going to be in the schools for obvious reasons. And so it's figuring out how to get the general public to pick up where they've left off, essentially, is how to get them to look for blood drives near them, find a location they can donate, and come out and donate on a regular basis, and to keep us stable this summer. Because there's quite a bit of fear in what the summer will bring for us and our ability to get Mississippi patients the treatments that they need. I've said it a million times. I would never want to be the parent sitting by a bedside of my child and being told that the product's not there for them. I mean, we're still getting phone calls like that on a weekly basis.
No, that's what I was about to ask you. Even with the school uptick that you've had for the past month or two, what are we looking at right now, blood supply level-wise?
I would say we're probably still only filling hospital orders at about 75%. If you just looked at it in a basic math process, then about 25% of the donors that need the product aren't getting it. Now, what I will say is that our hospitals are doing a better job. I don't even want to say better. They're doing a great job right now in triaging the donors and making sure that the blood is available for those those critical situations. But, if I'm the receiving patient and I'm being put at the bottom of the list and I know I need that product, regardless of how critical it is, I really want it to be there right then. And so the challenge we have is making sure that we get enough product every single day, that no patient has to be told they have to wait, regardless of what type of treatment it is that they need. It's just, quite frankly, not fair, for the doctors and the nurses to have to make those kind of decisions.
Well, and if you look at the percentage of the population that needs treatment on a daily basis versus the rest of the population, it shouldn't be any trouble to have enough blood to take care of those problems. But It is.
That's right. And, a lot of people never realize how much we need. And so we need to see as many as 200 donors every single day. And before I worked for Mississippi Blood Services, I would have never imagined it would take that many. But us seeing 200 donors every single day is what would get us what we need for those patients so that they don't have to hear that message.
Well, and the other problem that you have is it's not toilet paper. You can't stockpile it and keep last year's supply and have it hanging around. It's got a shelf life.
That's right. Blood does have a shelf life. And the other thing that people really need to understand is this isn't a product, a treatment that can be made in a laboratory. So human blood, blood transfusions, that cannot be created in a lab. So these patients are completely relying on the generosity of blood donors to roll up their sleeve and give about an hour of their time to save their life.
Well, we've got some text in on the C Spire text line, and we've dealt with this question before, you and I together, but we'll deal with it as many times as necessary. Can I give with high blood pressure? Is controlled with meds?
I would say anything that has to do with any type of medication that you're taking, give Mississippi Blood Services a call. They can walk you through that and make sure, because with the with the medications, I want to make sure that answer is correct. And so I would highly recommend calling the center.
And it would depend on the specific medication and what your dosage is and a lot of different factors. Yes. That means that there isn't a general answer for that.
That's right.
And while we're on that subject, what number can they call? Do you have a number?
Sure. They can call 601-368-2673, and they'll make sure they get to the right people.
Mose, a longtime listener and sporting a fine beard in the picture he sent in earlier, by the way, says, as soon as I get the email saying I'm eligible every 59 days to give, I'm looking for a nearby place to donate. Please give blood, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the kind of people that we need, though.
That's right. We need more Mo's. We need many, many more Mo's.
Mo's, we need more of you, so get busy. I'm not sure what he can do about that, but I think he's doing all he can do right now.
That's right.
The question here, are masks and capacity limits on the buses still in place?
No, we are now using full capacity on the coaches and being able to process more donors. We can process more donors if they show up for us. So our challenge isn't the number of donors on the coach, it's getting the donors to the coach. But right now we are at full capacity. Full
capacity. If there's a bench open, they'll sit you down.
That's right.
No waiting. Unless a whole bunch of people beat you there. And we certainly hope you have to wait because that means things are going well.
That's right. That's a problem that I would like to start having again.
Yeah. Once upon a time, not that long ago, you had that problem.
Yeah, there were many times that we would have blood drives that we would have donors just waiting. And right when COVID hit and there was this big, huge push from a national standpoint to come out and donate blood, we had lines then, especially because of our capacity on our coaches being so low. But, I tell everybody, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, my job is to recruit donors. So my job is every single day to figure out ways to get donors to come out. I want to be out of a job. I want to have nothing to do to the point that they're like, Merle, we don't need you anymore, because we have so many donors showing up on a regular basis. I won't be able to put me out of a job. I'm asking you to do that because I want the lines. I want it to be a problem again to not be able to process the donors that we see.
Yeah, that would be the nice thing to happen. And text on the C Spire text line from the 662 illustrates it perfectly. Says, my daughter survived a 2-year battle with cancer. I hate to imagine what would have happened without blood resources.
Wow.
That's what we're dealing with.
That's right. And the sad truth about it is so many blood donors have saved so many lives that it is just immeasurable. It's just it's hard to comprehend how many lives have been saved by the generosity of blood donors. But on the flip side of that, right now, we do have patients and their families that are being told that they have to wait. And that is not a situation we want Mississippi patients to be in. We don't want any patients to be in that situation. And so that's why we're trying to make it super easy for you to donate blood. And it is completely volunteer. It's not something that you're required to do. It's a completely volunteer basis. But what I want you to constantly remind yourself is how would you feel if someone you knew and you loved was told that the blood wasn't there for them?
And it happens.
That's right.
It happens every day. Can you hang around for a couple of more minutes?
Sure.
Okay. Merle Eldridge with us with Mississippi Blood Services. You have blood, she wants it. I think that's the best way to sum it up. So just bring her a bucket and you will save a lot of lives. And one person can save up to 3 lives.
That's right.
By giving blood. We'll talk about that. We've talked about it before, but I don't care. Obviously, the message isn't getting through, so we're going to talk about it again when we come back here on Middays in the Element Wealth Studios. Keep it here. Dave Hughes here, and on the C Spire text line, Donnie from Pike County says, I gave yesterday here in Macomb. Feels great to know you're helping other people and saving a life. Merle Eldridge with Mississippi Blood Services in the studio with us, and mentioned it right before the break. We're going to cover it again. When you give blood, you could save up to 3 lives with that one donation, right?
That's right. I mean, what else can you do that you're not only a hero? I mean, it is a literal hero act, but you're impacting as many as 3 lives while you do it. So it's pretty impressive.
Well, it really is, and it's something that I think we need to focus on because, and you and I were talking during the break. Well, I was talking and you were nodding. I'm not going to drag you off into my mess. But the pandemic has hurt our sense of community, from my perspective. And that's where giving blood and things like that come from. You have to have a sense of community, and you have to have a sense of wanting to help other people when there's nothing in it for you other than helping somebody that needs help that you have, that you can give. That's the mindset we've got to get back to. And I really am hopeful that we're about to see a swing in that direction, because that's going to be something that I think you're going to see it in your numbers.
I hope so.
When that happens. Now, of course, with school ending, those are ending, but you're still out and about all over the place. Do you have some places and some times and dates that you would like to put out there where people can meet you and bring their blood with them?
Please. The easiest thing to do is visit msblood.com. You scroll down about halfway through and you click blood drives near me. It's in the blue bar that goes across the middle. You can plug in your county, your zip, your city, numerous ways to search for a blood drive or a location that's near you. That's the easiest thing to do. Now, today, we do have several drives going on today, a few that are open to the public. We're in Ridgeland today at White Construction. We're there until 2, so not a lot of time left. And they actually are donating barbecue lunches to everybody who donates there. So
gotta go. You finished the show, Merle. I'm gone.
That's the place to be. We're also at Heritage House in Vicksburg. We're going to be there until 4. Ramey's Grocery in Monticello. We're going to be there until 4. And then we're also at the Baptist Medical Center in Yazoo City, and we're going to be there until 6. So that's just a small snippet of how many areas across the state we're in. Our teams, I have to give huge credit to our mobile collections teams that will get in those coaches and go to every corner of this state to see donors. And so I really hope that you'll use msblood.com. You'll find a location near you, and you'll go tell them that we sent you there.
You can just put your zip code in, and it'll pop up the most convenient one for you.
That's right. That's right.
And will that also show like ones that are coming up, not just today?
Yes.
It says, well, with Tuesday, they're going to be, 2 doors down, so
That's
I can
right.
just go there.
Everything that we've currently got booked in the system, it's going to show. So you may see drives that are a month out that we already have in the system. And so that's probably the easiest thing to do. But don't forget, we also have our centers in Flowood, Oxford, and Cleveland that are open all week and ready to see you every day.
Depending on how busy it is, each location, and I tell you this because I want to show you just how important your donation is. You heard Merle say you need, about 200 units a day, right? If they're out at 4 or 5 places, 30 or 40 people at each blood drive location gets them there. And saves those lives and makes sure that everybody has the blood they need if they're in the hospital having some sort of crisis or emergency or a procedure done. If you're not there, it's not 30, it's 29 that showed up. So it's a bigger impact than you think it is, especially when we go back to what we were talking about earlier, that blood has a very set shelf life. You give today, well, if your particular blood type isn't needed before that shelf life expires, Oh, got to go find some more. So it's a continuing treadmill that you guys are on to try to keep the supply up.
And, this is one of those things that you can't say, well, I'll wait and let somebody else can do that today, or I'll wait until somebody I know needs it. Guys, it's too late if we wait until somebody needs it, because when you donate today, that blood's not available for a couple of days. So if someone you know or love is in a serious car accident that could require anywhere from 50 to 100 units of blood, there's nothing you can do to help them from a blood donation standpoint. When you know people that are going through cancer treatments, or their child or somebody has been diagnosed with cancer, and you're trying to figure out ways you can help, you can donate in their name. You can donate to make sure that the blood is available for them. So there's so many reasons to give, and it's just so important that you not wait on somebody else to do it, because every 2 seconds someone needs it, and you never know when it might be you or someone else that you know and love, and we want to make sure it's there for you.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I think a lot of the problems that we have in the world today can be boiled down to a lot of people waiting for somebody else to do it. It's somebody else's problem. They'll handle it. I'll kick in when it really counts. Congratulations, that day has arrived. It really counts right now, and it counts every day.
That's right. That day has passed. That day has passed. I mean, we've been screaming from the rooftops. You and I have visited numerous times, and I've said we are trying everything we can to get donors to hear us and listen and respond. And that trend has continued. So that the day to step up and be a hero has passed. So make that change. Make that mental change today. Pick up your phone, go to your computer, find a blood drive near you, schedule that appointment, because once you schedule that appointment, you're going to feel more committed to save lives that day, and make it part of the remainder of your 2022 plans, that you are going to do this on a regular basis, and you're going to save lives, and you're going to take an hour of your time that can truly be a lifetime for somebody who needs it. So the day has passed. But today's the day that you can change your mentality and be the change.
Well, and one thing, and Merle's mentioned it several times, she and I have had this conversation with you many, many times. Just a little behind-the-scenes stuff here. When I first saw Merle today, got done with the segment before she was coming on, and saw her, I looked at her and said, "So how's it going?" And she shot me this look, and I said, "Yeah, it's a loaded question, isn't it?" And I say that to say this. If you are tired of us begging for blood, imagine how we feel. This is not what we want to be talking about. I'd love to be discussing Merle's weekend plans, what she's going to grill at the house, anything. But we have to keep having this conversation, because we have to do everything we can to get the blood donations up, and it hasn't happened. And that's why we need you. Because if you make that decision, number one, it might influence somebody else to make that decision. But more importantly, every single person that does gets us a lot closer to where we need to be, where I can finally ask Merle what she's grilling over the weekend and try to get an invitation. I'm hungry, and you're not helping me. So I just wanted to address this, because it feels like you and I every so often sit down and we talk for 30 minutes about how horrible everything is. We don't want to. Yeah. As Merle said, she doesn't want to have a job.
Right.
she wants to be looking for work right now, but we've got to get to that point, and it counts on you to make that happen and to save the lives, because Kevin in Monticello says, quote, "Imagine how sick someone gets that needs that blood." Bingo. Dead center, Kevin.
That's right. That's right. And I tell a lot of people that are like, "Oh, well, I'm afraid of needles." Imagine the child that's sitting in a Batson bed right now that's been stuck all day long, been stuck by some type of needle all day long. So what's a needle in your arm for 10 minutes to save a few lives? Don't be afraid of the needle when you think about where that blood's going.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I did want to touch on. This, especially right now with no waiting, because, you don't have the crowds, 30 minutes in and out, I would say, probably would be a good estimate for how long this is going to take you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good, and one of the things we've done to save you time is you can actually go to our website, msblood.com, and you can complete your donor history questionnaire before you get to the blood drive. It has to be done the same day as you're donating, but you can go in and knock that out. So when you get there, you show them your QR code, and you've bypass several minutes of the process. And so it makes it super easy. So yeah, 30 minutes. Do your online question, get there 30 minutes from the time that you are walking on the coach until you're leaving with your snack and your drink and your t-shirt or whatever you may be getting that day. And you could look back and know that you've saved lives.
I was waiting for you to mention the snack and the drink.
Yeah.
That's an important part of the whole process.
It is. It's an ongoing debate. Nutter Butters or Oreos?
I think it would kind of depend on the day for me, but I would probably lean towards the Nutter Butter.
Okay.
You're an Oreo person, aren't you?
I'm an Oreo person.
I just learned something about you, Merle. You're an Oreo girl.
I'm an Oreo girl. I actually donated myself earlier this week and left with my Oreos.
You did it for the Oreos.
That's right.
Do what you got to do. You can go give them the website one more time.
It is www.msblood.com.
And you very rarely hear me use this phraseology, but I'm going to use it right now. I am begging you. Go over there, find out where the closest blood drive to you is, the soonest one, and go give and save some lives. Please. Merle, I always enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, I love being here.
It's always a lousy conversation we have to have, but I still enjoy having it with you.
Thanks.
So
we're going to have a positive conversation before we know it.
Yes, we will. We're going to get there. I have no doubt. We continue. Final half hour of Middays live in the Element Wealth studio.